What's up? Name's Binky, coming at you from a messed up room because I don't have a better background. To serve as a quick introduction, I'm a streamer, VTuber, I'm also a film student, and recently, ever since that fateful Overwatch collab, K-pop fan of sorts. So I thought, why not combine those two things together in a video and talk about something I care about. In this video, I'm going to be ranking every NewJeans music video. Before we get into that, let's make some clarifications. First off, Gods, completely forgot it exists, and I don't think it qualifies for this list, so it's not going to be in this video. Gods, I feel like more than, although it is technically part of NewJeans' discography, as it is a NewJeans song of sorts, the music video is not really a product of NewJeans more than it is a product of Riot and Worlds 23. I just don't think, I think it would belong more in a Worlds music video, Worlds anthem ranking video more than it would in a NewJeans music video ranking. So yeah, first thing, no Gods. Gods will not be on this list. Secondly, I will only be ranking main music videos. I won't be talking about things like performance versions. Music videos with different parts will be ranked under one single position and counted as one music video. And finally, remember, this list is merely my opinion. You're allowed to disagree, do not take my word as fact, and if you disagree with something I say or have something to add, I encourage you to do so in the comments. I love seeing things from other people's perspectives. After all, that is the essence of art, perspective. Well, with that out of the way, let's get on with the list. Hurt is one of the slower NewJeans songs, and the music video matches the energy pretty well. I just wish it did so in a more interesting and captivating way. As much as I love looking at the members' gorgeous faces, doing so for the entirety of the song in the same setting under the same lights, same colors, and same filter just comes off as kind of bland in comparison to the absolute cinematic masterpieces they have been putting out. The very fact that I can't come up with much more to say about this music video is a testament to how unremarkable it is. P1 Shin directed this music video. He was responsible for directing NewJeans' very first music video, Attention, and later went on to direct the huge sensation that was Super Shy. So we know he's capable of great things, and his artistic vision is nothing to scoff at. So yes, this was a deliberate artistic choice for Hurt in particular, which I can respect, but it just does not compare to any of the other music videos in NewJeans' videography. I tried, guys. I really did, but no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't in good faith put any of these music videos under Hurt 250 remix music video. I wanted to avoid putting both versions of Hurt music videos so close to each other on the list, but in the end, it runs into the same problem that the first Hurt music video does, except Hurt 250 is a considerable improvement to the original Hurt music video. I really wanted to rank this higher because I really appreciate that they went for a more interesting aesthetic here and they just stuck to it. The shots in this one are much more interesting and definitely have much more to offer visually. The intro of the members playfully singing Ditto at the beginning really sets the mood of this homemade nostalgic vibe that carries throughout the song, but it doesn't ever feel like it goes stale like the original music video. For that, it deserves its credit, and I wish I could place it higher, but it really does not compete with the other music videos on this list. Yeah. This song never quite sat right with me. I wouldn't say I hate it or even dislike it, but it was definitely never on the same level of appreciation that I held for most of these songs. And that was before I even thought to look into the lyrics. Seriously, no one talks about a cookie that way. Stop coping. My personal taste in music and questionable lyrics aside, let's focus on what this video is all about. This music video seems to have been filmed in one location throughout, in this one set. There's not much to talk about in this music video. The shots are pretty simple and straightforward. There was an obvious choice to make this video more centered around choreography, and for what it is, it serves its purpose. Aside from the dancing, the lights and the editing do a lot of the heavy lifting in this one. It goes without saying that the editing is great. From the rhythmic cuts to the eye-catching VFX, it really does make this music video a decent watch. But even then, by now we've seen that the editing within their videography goes far beyond this. For that, and paired with the fact that this is one of the weaker NewJeans songs, it feels appropriate to place it this low. You know, I really wish I could play 0 lower. But unfortunately, I can't deny the amount of thought and production value that went to the music video for Coca-Cola advertisement, The Song, featuring NewJeans. Well, this is the lowest ranking music video that features a narrative, so I'll look at it that way so I'm able to sleep comfortably at night. Anyway, this advertisement follows the story of Hedin and her magical or prophetic drawings. Hidden, with a cat profile picture, which is undeniably a cute detail, posts a picture of the beach on totallynotinstagram.com. Danielle sees this before her bus trip with Hayne and leaves a like on it before dozing off to sleep, along with her travel buddy. Then we get a look at Hayne's drawings as she adds a bright red door in the middle of her drawing of the beach. Around this one on her wall, we can spot different drawings relevant to later events in the music video. We see the bus Hayne and Danielle are riding on, the bus stop that the duos meet on, and Minji's little market that makes an appearance later. Honey is on this exact beach in person and spots the red door and is so shocked that she books it across town to Minji's market. Honey tells Minji about the door with an odd sense of urgency and drags her out of her shop like a schizo going on about some mysterious red door. Minji's dragged along regardless, and they meet up with Hayne and Danielle in a bus stop, seemingly coincidentally. Then, Minji makes the camera fall in love for some reason, but let's stay focused, people. The girls run to the beach and find the door. They all stand by and witness Hayne casually walking out of the magic red door with, you'll never guess, a Coke. A canned Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Hayden hands it to Minji and we pause for fucking ever to watch and hear Minji chug down this can of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Anyway, they party all night and watch the fireworks at night and it's pretty or whatever. I'm not very fond of this song or music video if you couldn't already tell. The photography on its own is pretty good. I wouldn't say we have a single ugly shot in this music video, but it doesn't flow for the glaring issue this music video has of halting the music. This is nothing new. It's a technique used by many other music videos across genres to heighten a moment or emphasize something going on in the video. However, these are usually implemented in a place that makes sense within the song, like right before a drop or during a swelling. But in Zero, it just kinda happens. It's very abrupt and not in a satisfying sense. It doesn't really fit musically nor visually. None of the moments in the music video that halt the song feel appropriate for that measure of emphasis. For example, was it really that earth-shattering to have Hani burst into Minji's market? To have the music fade out dramatically and pull us into a slow-mo and put in a heartbeat sound effect for some reason? I don't know about you, but to me, that seems like being pissed about your favorite idol having a relationship levels of overdoing it. The dancing portions of this video aren't bad. I mean, it's hard to go wrong with NewJeans' skill, but from an editing standpoint, it's pretty whatever. We see some clunky looking digital camera shakes, but I get that they were trying to heighten the impact of the booms in the song. Anyway, before we can stop talking about this ad, I do hope the artists who made Hannon's drawings got their money up because they look great. I mean, just look at that door. I wish I could render doors like that. Seriously, who the fuck let that chorus publish? 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷. Bubblegum is wholesome, harmless, cute, and fun, and it doesn't need to be anything else. I have to say, they nail that nostalgic feel much better in this music video, from the cassette tapes in the intro to the very homey feel that the house set gives off. This video is pretty similar in formula to Heart 250, but has a much more defined story and captivating shots. Though it may not be the most elaborate story, it tells it in a way that really works. Setting this up with Hayne teaching the camera how to blow bubbles through a retro recording and closing it with the same footage is very satisfying. This, paired with the cassettes and the later shot of a computer opening up files of videos of the members in a beach setting, lead us to understand that this could be the girls reliving the memories of a fun summer with friends. Telling stories endlessly of their time together. Sweet like bubblegum. The global sensation, Super Shy. I remember hearing this song somewhere even before I even got into K-pop, or had any notion of the space, as I'm sure many others did. As of the time of writing this, the music video sits at 224 million views on YouTube. It is NewJeans' most viewed music video, excluding the OMG performance video. That doesn't count. Shh, sleep my sweet keyboard warrior. The point is, this song is massive, and the music video has some shots that are just as iconic. The music video opens up with a red bike on the ground. Danielle picks it up and rides off with it. I like to think that she just stole this bike. I mean, it wasn't stowed anywhere, it wasn't chained to a pole or anything. It was just on the ground. I think it's funny to imagine someone leaving their bike on the ground to rush over to help their grandma who just broken her butt by falling over, only to turn around and see a happy girl riding off with their bike, making them drop their grandma on her butt again out of sheer rage and disbelief. Anyway, the music kicks in as she rides off on her stolen bike, and we get to see a kid 360 no-scope the fuck out of some balloons. I've always wondered how the team made the balloons pop like that. The kid obviously didn't shoot anything. If anyone watching has any idea how they could have managed this, please let me know. I'm genuinely curious. The music fades out again as Danielle meets with the rest of the girls and they have a little exchange about going where they've always wanted to go. After that, they run off towards the diegetic attention playing in the distance, and they hop on a bus with the whole Zumba class, only to witness a fatal bike accident, and then we don't really go anywhere else from there narratively. It's a strange decision to have them talk about a place in the intro and then just not pay it off. Instead, we just get NewJeans bowing and marching off screen, which, by all intents and purposes, is satisfying to look at, but not at all satisfying narratively. And I can already hear you guys retorting with a mouthful of Cool Ranch Doritos. You fucking idiot! Music videos don't always need to be narrative! Well, first of all, language. But yes, you'd be right. Music videos don't always need to be narrative, and most of them don't have one. But you have to pick a lane and commit. If they wanted this whole music video to be a video clip, they shouldn't have opened up with a plot point. Just jump us right into the Venga bus and let us watch some epic choreo mixed with cool shots of Portuguese people playing some football. That's the correct way of saying soccer to all my backwards Americans out there. Anyway, enough with my grudge against the disappearing act of this music video's narrative. This music video seems to have a recurring theme of some unfortunate things happening to bystanders wherever they are dancing, to which the NewJeans members have no reaction, they don't even acknowledge it. We could interpret this as two different things. It could be a demonstration of the misfortunes that shy people save themselves from by avoiding people altogether. They won't face heartbreak, they won't find themselves in an argument because they hate confrontation. They can still be in a fatal accident though, so yeah, watch out for that. Could also be a statement on minding your own damn business, or the ignorant bliss you can indulge in by dancing carelessly in public with your Zumba squad and NewJeans, who are also here. Hi NewJeans. Despite all my problems with the music video, I still think it's a good watch and I quite like it myself. I think the dancing is pretty addictive to look at. Also, this deserves its credit for famously letting Hani go blonde, which she went on record about loving. Super Shy music video. No mucho. The very first music video we get of NewJeans, and as I understand, the very first piece of big content we get of them. I've heard that they opted out of teasers, so this would be a completely cold open and introduction to a brand new girl group, and that is one hell of a first impression. The music video opens up with the girls rushing into a venue of some sort. Their wardrobe, the colors, the set, and overall look of these initial scenes give off a sort of underground vibe that we unfortunately never see out of NewJeans ever again. It does spring some wonder about what a concept like that would look like on them, but I digress. We see Minji come out of the bathroom and join the other girls in front of the mirror. Hani puts her finger up against the mirror and plasters a dot of lipstick above it. Minji blows on it and Hani rubs it off. I wasn't really sure what this was about or if it meant anything, but as of writing this script, I learned that apparently the intro was filmed during Minji's birthday, so they included this bit, emulating a candle being blown out. Pretty cool, right? The girls come out and join the crowd to jam out to the performance until Minji gets a call from her mom and moves to step up. But time stops amid her trajectory when sparks fly as a boy steps in front of her and they share a lingering stare. Wow, I'm so excited for Minji in this storyline, is what I would have said if any of that actually happened. It was all just a scene from a book Minji was reading from her bath! Yup. Anyway, after being pranked by director Shin Hee-won, we cut to Hain walking and liking her own totally not Instagram reel in the major act of self-glaze of 2023. And a little less than halfway through this, the song finally kicks in, and it does so in a way that has always stuck out to me as a little weird. To be fair, attention does have a pretty sudden start, so I see how it would be hard to smooth us into it, but something about the timing of this scene and when the music booms into existence really sticks out to me. Then we go into full rhythmic video clip style music video mode with a loose narrative about the girls going on about their day and getting ready to be out and about. You could interpret this as being stuck to the lyrics and that everything they do in this music video is to get people's attention, like the girls invading Danielle's Zoom call and making her drop her laptop then dance in front of it, or most notably, Hain absolutely handing that slice of cake. I mean, she just straight up grips that slice of cake with her bare hands, just wraps her bare fingers around this cake, and on top of that, bites it from the back end. First impression of Hain, by the way. If we stick to this narrative of being all about attention, in the end, they see 5 boys on some boulder at the beach, and Minji seems to catch the attention of the boy she saw in her dreams. The dancing sections of this music video make use of real camera movements, and it works really well with this big field they rented out, and the multitude of backup dancers. It deserves its credit for being such a bold introduction to a brand new girl group that seems to be putting forward a more fun-centric image rather than a perfect spectacle or grandiose performance that would be industry standard. But alas, its loose story and solid choreography shots can only take it so far in a list of strong hitters. R.I.P. Hain's phone. No one remembers you. Supernatural is, well, a supernatural case. I really want to love this music video, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot to love. The song is one of my all-time favorites by NewJeans. The retro sci-fi futuristic look they're going for here is actually super captivating, and it makes for some incredible visuals. But unfortunately, it all doesn't quite come together in a music video that seemed to aim to go in that direction, judging by the fact that there are two parts to this, and that there is somewhat of an underlying story. So I guess I should preface this by saying that this music video doesn't make all that much sense to me. Now, whether that is my fault for being very dumb and stupid, or if this is a flaw of the music video, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. For now though, I will yap recklessly. Part 1 of Supernatural functions more as a setting more than anything. Nothing really happens in terms of story other than establishing some things, like Hane's dynamic with this guy. They spend some time together in this part, and I'm pretty sure the implication is that Hane has a crush on him. It seems like the girls had just recently flown in, judging by the shots of them with plane tickets and lots of luggage in this airport-looking place where Hane and Guy initially meet. We get a rough idea of what the other members get up to as the video continues. Danielle seems to become a weather reporter who is also charged with some sort of electric power. Hani and Harin look to be models as we see them on set surrounded by lights and cameras. Meanwhile, Minji begins to intervene between Hane and her crush. It's unclear if this is intentional or not. We never really get a look at Minji's emotions during these scenes, only Hane's apparent disappointment. And other than some sick visuals and expectedly amazing dance breaks, nothing else really happens in this part. We get a shot of Haring riding this zebra unicorn thing for like 3 seconds, which I'm not sure if that's like a in-story thing or they just thought that shit was epic and they wanted to put it in the video. Anyway, part 2 opens up with Danielle listening as her divorced parents, Hani and Minji, argue outside. But wait, there's multiple Hanis? In the dialogue we get after seeing Danielle's reports of a storm rolling in, it is revealed to us that the girls aren't normal people. Judging by the flying bunny-eared saucers going around, we could assume that they mean to say that they're aliens. Hani seems to be worried that they will be prosecuted for this and seems to be urging Minji to think about what she'll do when things come to a head. Minji replies by telling Hani that they are a team and whatever happens, they will do it together as one. Their interaction is finished after Hani says, "I have to see the meaning of it," as she looks off into the distance. Not much more information is given to us about the catalyst of this argument, so I'll use my little human film student brain to fill in some gaps with utter bullshit. Seeing as how Hani is the one on the offensive in this argument, meaning that she is the one reprimanding and questioning Minji, I could assume that this all started because of something Minji did or said. I think that it's possible that Minji wanted to publicly admit that NewJeans are aliens for whatever reason, and Hani is worried about the consequences that could come from it. But my little bullshit narrative falls apart on, I've got to see the meaning of it. See the meaning of what, Hani? There is no other elements of this story that hint to something greater or a mystery at play. Why was this important enough to receive in form of dialogue? Anyway, back to the video. We see more of Minji coming between Hane and her crush, and after that, we see Minji and Harin on a set. Then Harin gets pissed and uses her alien powers to blow up all their lights for some reason. Those aren't cheap, you know. She storms off with a stick with a paper bird at the end of it, and Minji runs off after her. Then we never get any sort of follow-up to this scene. Then we see Hane and Minji on a boat, and they have a small interaction in which Minji talks about how she avoided making friends because everyone ended up leaving despite trying to be friendly with all sorts of people. Which, by the way, a little aside, the captions on this scene in the English caption track are in Spanish for some reason. I mean, I know Spanish, so it wasn't an issue for me. I just thought it was strange. But yeah, this little monologue is followed by a shot of some guy dropping a can into the water, and I'm not sure if that means anything. The bunny saucers start pulling up as the music video comes to an end, and again, I don't know what that means. I mean, did NewJeans return to their home planet? Are bunnies invading this world? What happened to Hane's crush? What happened to Harin's zebra unicorn? Did Hani ever find the meaning of it? You get my point. Despite being a cool concept and offering great visuals, for being a two-part endeavor, it really lacks focus from a story standpoint.
Hi, it's me again, I'm back. Let's talk ASAP.
I love this music video. Unfortunately, in the words of my ex, love alone is not always enough. Despite not being the biggest fan of the song itself, this music video is one of my favorites, and it would be placed higher if I didn't care so much about fairness. It goes in a bit of an abstract direction, and it is a video clip through and through. There's not much of a story going on here, but there is a clear dark fantasy or even horror theme present. It is such a unique concept and unexpected to be paired with this song, but seeing them together works extremely well. I never thought I'd see a NewJeans song or any K-pop song to take this direction for a music video, but they did for ASAP, and what a sight to behold. The girls are depicted as these fairy-like beings, and they seem to be hanging around in this forest setting where dark creatures lurk around. It really comes to show the absolute quality that comes out of NewJeans music videos when the midpoint of the ranking list already has a music video this good, and they only get much better from here. The origin of one of the most iconic depictions of NewJeans, the Warner Brothers collab that gave us the gift of our favorite girls as Powerpuff Girls. NewJeans really feels like a celebration of everything NewJeans had accomplished up to that point, and the community they had built up. The video starts with these clips of the girls being interviewed about what kind of superpowers they would like to have, and then we see them back at the house where Hayne seems to believe that the Powerpuff Girls should wield wands. That's certainly a take. Anyway, a light stick activates behind them and falls off the shelf, becoming a flashbang on impact and flashing us into a black screen. Then, the designs are revealed. We follow the animated girls through this little adventure where they save a bunny and then come back to the real world at the very end. Very simple and cute premise, but that isn't the highlight of the music video for me. What really makes me love this music video is how many different styles of animations and mediums they used and purposely highlighted throughout the music video. Recording an animator's monitor through a camera rather than just seeing a screen recording works amazingly well, and being able to see the rigging of their bunny model was just so cool. Same with the music software we get to look at. Making the girls different styles of animations during their small battle against the giant light stick is genius and gives us a small depiction of the process it goes through until the final image is just chef's kiss. The bit where we go meta and get a look at a fake YouTube and see a tiny animated rendition of Hype Boy was so charming. The music video is chock full of these fun bits such as graffiti coming to life, NewJeans in a captcha test, and the list goes on. The ending sequence, especially as the song dies down, is such a nice wrap up. Zooming out from a bunny's room and seeing the cityscape become a collection of moments and symbols of NewJeans is just so cool to see. I feel like I say the word cool a lot while talking about this music video, but overall, that is what it is. So fresh and so clean. Lyrically, How Sweet is one of the most interesting songs in NewJeans' discography, and I mean that in the best way possible. With the main themes of most of these songs being mostly about love, this one being about a breakup is pretty refreshing, and the music video doesn't stray far behind. The girls' journey for this music video starts with Minji completely annihilating a fire hydrant, and with it, their car. However, we don't quite see it happening. Instead, we see a pretty immediate aftermath from the perspective of a dog. Although, seeing a scene of NewJeans running over a fire hydrant would have been hilarious. We get a cool sticker effect for the beginning credits and title card with the group name, the members' names, and finally the title of the song. Around these slides there are other stickers that are references to NewJeans in general ways, such as stickers of animals that usually represent the members, or the October 29th sticker, which is Bunny's Day, the day that NewJeans revealed their fandom name, as well as nods to things we see later in the music video. Anyway, back to the accident. Hayden FaceTimes the creatures to live document her experience. I actually don't know what is up with these things, but these little random animated moments are a reoccurring thing across this video, so yeah, we have to assume they're important. Maybe these are just representative of real people and they didn't feel like hiring actors? Anyway, let's focus. The girls finally leave the car and a bottle of a very specific beverage is lying on the street. Yep, Coca-Cola makes a return with the most vile act of product placement a company could ever do to get their grimy hands all over our weak subconsciousness. You're biased looking stunning as ever, sipping off a Coca-Cola bottle under simulated rainfall, or in this case, fire hydrant malfunction. I actually don't really mind the promoted material in this one, because it's nowhere near as egregious as Zero, whose entire existence depends on the Coca-Cola company. In my opinion, this one is done much more tastefully, and the fact that it's Kang Hyun in this product placement shot is not at all swaying my opinion in the slightest. Okay? It's not. Moving on. As the girls walk dance their way into town, we get our first look at the gimmick of this music video. We see the girls from the perspective of a fly, which is swallowed by some sort of lizard. Science bros, I humbly request that you do not crucify me for not knowing what animal this is specifically, but I think it's a bearded dragon. Anyway, point is, we get a sweet transition as we go down this thing's throat, and we end up in a very cool set. It's a dark room with a shallow pooling water, and some ducks or geese floating around in the background as the girls kick up some water with their sick moves. I'm curious how they put this set together, so I might check out the behind the scenes they usually put out for these. Not right now though. My head hurts and I'm starving. Wow, I was down in the dumps when I wrote this. Holy shit. The girls attempt hitchhiking as a small truck transporting cows passes by. The driver completely ignores them, so naturally they proceed to pose for the cows. They keep moving and pass by a mini market, and you'll never guess what logo it has plastered all over it. Anyway, they just kind of poke around and make fun of the guy behind the counter for nodding off to sleep and leave. And it doesn't look like they bought anything either. They go around town and we see the gimmick into full effect, going split screen to the same scene from different perspectives, and honestly, it's all very cool. The girls finally find a mechanic and Minji sheepishly asks for his assistance. The guy gets his tow truck and the video comes to an end as the girls get back in the car and get up to some chill tomfoolery as they're towed away. You can't go wrong with a music video this good. The simple storyline, abundant dance breaks, dynamic camera work, and eye-catching animation makes this an easy and enjoyable watch. What stands out to me the most about this music video is how rich it is in cute little details that really give this video that edge. Little things like the camera movement simulating the market man's heavy head and Hain following along with her head, and the sudden bizarre animations popping up at certain points are all really charming and fun to see. I gotta say, this music video is pretty sweet. Estimated time of arrival tells the story of Ava, who gets a call from NewJeans to tell her that her boyfriend is cheating on her during the party they're performing at. For the rest of the music video, we see Ava breaking all sorts of traffic laws to get to the scene as soon as possible, all the while experiencing delusions such as seeing the girls around her urging her to be faster and adding fuel to her fiery rage by telling her how shitty men can be. One traffic stop later, Ava finally finds her boyfriend with another girl and she runs them over. We cut to the trunk of the car and the trunk of her boyfriend's shirt is sticking out. The music video ends as Ava drives to the edge of a cliff and we're shown her delusions in the form of Minji and Hani, who have finally gone silent and only staring with straight faces. Eva steps out of her car and the music video ends with an anonymous iPhone ring, because this whole thing was commissioned by Apple and was entirely filmed in an iPhone, with industry lights and a bunch of other accessories, but still no cameras other than the one built into the iPhone. Anyway, back to the ending. In the director's cut, this scene is actually a little longer, and the first time I saw it, it really gave me the chills. Ava walks to the back of the car and pushes it off the cliff. From the perspective of within the car, we get to see the car slowly roll off the edge of the cliff and plummet down towards the ground below. The wind and rattling of the car intensify until it cuts right before impact into the same iPhone ring. Unfortunately, this didn't make the release cut and the director's cut was taken down, but thankfully bunnies preserve everything and you can find this cut reposted by many channels. Anyway, seems like a pretty straightforward story, right? Wrong! When asked about this music video, director Woo-suk Shin actually had some things to say about this. He talks about how there's a discrepancy in the timeline of this video. Observant folks out there will notice that at the beginning of the music video, we see the hair tie next to Ava's phone. A hair tie that is only seen later in the music video when Ava's boyfriend has it wrapped around his wrist by this other girl. Then he reveals that the murder had already happened from the beginning of the video, and that her entire journey is not to catch the cheaters but to dispose of their bodies, all the while seeing delusions. Shin also goes on to talk about the message of the music video, talking about how we as a society take rumors at face value and oftentimes act without verifying facts. Apparently, we never see if Ava's boyfriend was actually cheating or not. The kissing scene was only a delusion Ava has as the unreliable narrators in the form of NewJeans feed her anger by chanting negativity into Ava's mind. So, what were those missed calls about? Could it have been the girls trying to warn Ava that it was all a misunderstanding? Did Ava realize that she had been wrong too late and now feels remorseful, so much that she avoids these calls? Truth is, as cool as this music video is, I'm actually not a big fan of this twist. The fact that the timeline is actually out of order doesn't really add much of value to the story, and although the message was meant to be a statement on rumors, there wasn't much of an effort to shed it in a negative light. Usually, when directors have a message to convey in their work, such as a movie or show, they manipulate the presentation in such a way that makes the spectator see things the way the director wants them to see it. As an example, let's take a look at something topical. Squid Game. Squid Game has a clear message about economic classes of people, with the two most prominent for the purposes of the show being the poor and the rich. The rich put the poor through a devastating blood sport for entertainment purposes. Yeah, they watch as these poor people create bonds and rivalries and are forced to kill each other as they dangle a huge amount of money in front of their faces, all for fun. Do you see where I'm going with this? The director had a message to send, and he did. A statement on rich people's detachment from the majority of the population's reality, going as far as to see them not as people, but as trash. That is something that I find to be lacking in a music video that was apparently meant to convey a message about rumors and how damaging they can be. Music videos make storytelling skills shine as they go about story beats in a very abstract and quick but effective ways. I'm sure they could have put in a scene about Ava's remorse or revealed that her boyfriend hadn't actually been cheating so that this anti-rumor message really came through. But we get the coolest sequence during the rap part where we see the members in these cars, and it just makes me forget every problem I have with this music video, honestly. But then I remember Eden doesn't have a car part, and it all comes back. It's down to the final 5, and these are getting really hard to rank. I think this is a good point in the video to remind you all that most of these music videos are really damn good and stand out quite a bit from what we usually see from K-pop music videos. And that this ranking has taken a lot of thinking, and it wasn't easy to make up my mind over what peak was peaker than peak. With that said, let's talk about this banger right now. In this multi-collab, Murakami, Warner Brothers, and Adore join forces to tell the story of Hani, who is left wondering about the meaning of an abstract response she receives after bravely asking someone to watch a movie with her. They send a sticker of a multicolored flower, and nothing else. The girls all have a giggle and their minds go crazy with speculation. Meanwhile, their Powerpuff Girl equivalents find a similar looking flower that seems to be a key ingredient for a love potion. And their Murakami versions are, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really sure what their Murakami versions are supposed to be doing in this music video other than look cute. They have a few scenes where they are wandering around a strange looking world and later have cute interactions between them, but I wouldn't say there's really a whole lot going on with them narratively, at least. The girls up in the real world start to think of possibilities of what they could have meant by what they sent Hani. Danielle goes on about fantasies of beautiful love while Minji takes a more academic approach, finding a book and explaining what flowers usually signify in media, which sounds very convincing to Hain and Hedin at least. All the while, the Powerpuff Girls versions gather ingredients and throw them into a colorful pot as bunnies dance to Super Shy. I just had to mention it, they look so cute doing this. Hani becomes overwhelmed by everyone's input and her increasing nervousness from the uncertainty. Then finally, another message comes in. Hani checks her phone only to see them say that the sticker had been sent by mistake, and we watch as Hani's hope deflates into a multicolored fart and the Powerpuff jeans have their concoction blow up in their faces. Hani throws her phone aside and the other girls comfort her, and we are left with a final shot of the phone in which the other person had begun to type another message before transitioning away to credits, leaving us to forever wonder what they could have said after nuking Hani's excitement. This is such a cute and relatable story presented in such a cool way. Having a parallel storyline happen along with the main situation is so fun and it works really well. I'm glad they got to use these collaborative characters again and weren't just a one-off thing. While you might think this story is very simple and not all that interesting, I think that really helps this music video really shine. It translates very easily and very rhythmically too, serving as a storytelling experience and eye candy in an easily digestible way. This underrated piece of art is most worthy of kicking off my top 5. A collection of different versions of this music video that comprise one big story and connect to each other. A true experience. Hype Boy is probably the NewJeans song with the most music video versions. These versions are split amongst the members: Hani, Hain, Minji, and Danielle and Hedin, who share a single version for both. All of these versions converge on the events of a party in which the members dance, but each of them have different beginnings and a different aftermath. The formula usually being establishing the hype boy, a development in their interactions, and finally the party and how things end up with their respective hype boy. Now, I'm not entirely sure if there's a correct order to watch these in, but it seems like the story works no matter which version you start with, so that's already many points up. For the purposes of this video, I will use the order that they're sorted in this playlist titled NewJeans MV Playlist in Order by YouTube user Rena. Thank you. So let's start with Minji. Minji encounters her hype boy during some sort of carnival where she sets her drink down on the ground while she ties her shoes. A boy comes up and takes her flame-flavored drink and teases her. Minji playfully wrestles her drink back, and we're shown that the boy leaves quite an impression on her. Minji goes on to paint her nails green, the same color that the boy's hair was on the night they met. Much to her embarrassment, the next time they meet, their hair is no longer green, but more of a pinkish red. Minji tries to hide her green nails, but is approached by Lime Boy, and he writes something on Minji's hand that isn't quite legible other than Hangul for what seems to be his name, Alex, which is also the actor's name. Minji can't seem to get rid of it, and Lime Boy encourages her to keep it. The day of the party finally comes around, and Minji can't seem to find him, so she goes out and finds him lounging with a VR headset on. Minji gets his attention and talks while signaling at the variety of scribbles on his arm. Then we cut away to more dancing and the ending. Judging by how things were presented, I think it's safe to assume that things between Lime Boy and Minji went well, But there's not much more we can say on the little information we have, so let's move on to Danielle and Hetting. Danielle brushes her teeth as she scrolls through filters she could put over a picture she took with Basketball Boy, who sends a good morning text to Danielle. The screen scrolls to show us Hetting hitting the nastiest Minecraft Steve combo in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on her Nintendo Switch, while messages start coming in from the same Basketball Boy asking if she knows who it is. Hetting doesn't seem all too excited, but she at least looks intrigued. We cut to Hetting walking down the hall with Hain and Minji. Basketball Boy steps in their way and Hetting looks up to see him offering a heart-shaped lollipop. Just then, Danielle and Hani come down the stairs with Danielle holding the exact same lollipop in her hand. The boy smiles and makes a retreat. Danielle holds her lollipop up to Hetting's mouth and Hetting accepts, opening her mouth for her. Later, they seem to be comparing text messages, presumably with the same boy, to learn that they are very similar. After catching on to the basketball's attempt at double timing them, the girls are inspired to get up to some shenanigans. They sneak into the basketball boys' locker room and snag some stuff from their lockers only to dump them at the gate. Just a little bit of trolling. The day of the party comes by and when they're not helping Hani gather the courage to talk to her hype boy, they spend most of their time with each other, smiling at each other and exchanging looks. They playfully nudge each other and end up outside, walking around and holding hands before the music video comes to an end. A lot of the people in the comment section of this music video seem to be shying away from acknowledging this as more than a friendship over boys moment. And I think that might be because shipping is such a touchy subject in the K-pop community. But I think if we separate the music video from all that, this coding seems to supersede friendship. The indirect kiss, the staring, the giggling, the animation depicting a heart splitting into two before both halves come together to form a single heart again. I mean, it doesn't feel like a reach to say that it's entirely possible that we are meant to believe that Danielle and Hetting end up together in this story. If you have a compelling argument to see how Hetting and Danielle were just roommates in Hype Boy, please let me know. I'd love to see you try. On to Hain. She seems to be captivated by a boy ripping an inhaler. Shortly after, we see the same boy fall over and drop his stuff all over the floor. In classic fashion, Hain helps him gather his things and notices some drawings. Hain is intrigued by his art, but the boy snatches it away and makes a quick exit. Hain later poses with her own inhaler and seemingly sends the pictures to him. In return, Hain gets Huo Megaloled, but this does not deter her. She hypes up the boy to the rest of the girls and gets her hopes up, even going as far as to look up kissing tutorials. On the day of the party, Hain gives him a look as she performs her dance. She has a couple of cups, presumably to share with Inhaler Boy as she seeks him out. Only to find him mocking the Hype Boy dance. Hain is infuriated and ends up smashing the drinks and doesn't approach him. The music video ends and I think it's safe to say that she didn't talk to him after that. Lastly, but not leastly, we have Hani. Why did I say that? Why did I write that? Alright. Hani watches a Faceless creator do a dance cover of Hype Boy, and she seems to be enamored by it. Hani can't stop watching them, so much so that she is distracted while walking with her friends and ends up behind on a soccer field, in which she immediately scores a goal. Good shit, girl. Hani logs onto her laptop and sends No Face a message, complimenting them and telling them about the party. Hani is left waiting for a reply for a while until they eventually write back, accepting the invitation. Hani spots them as she dances and looks very excited. After the dance, she chats nervously with Hetting and Danielle, but they both cheer her on and nudge her towards No Face. Hani approaches them and they reveal their face to her. And her reaction is just as ambiguous as No Face's gender. It strikes me as hard to read. I'm not sure if she's just surprised but happy in the end, or disappointed but accepting of No Face's appearance. Their interaction ending with a handshake doesn't really help either. It's all very open-ended. Anyway, the absolute scale of this music video is always impressive. Having these many perspectives revolving around the same events is a very cool way to go about a music video. The animated sequences that are symbolic of each version's story and correspondent Hype Boy are always satisfying to see. Also, seeing themes like potentially homosexuality and a possibly non-binary character involved is something I wouldn't expect to see from something like K-pop. It reads as a pleasant surprise. For its ambition and excellent execution, Hype Boy is deserving of its hype. I think you get a good read and understanding of someone after seeing them so much. And you find out they're an iPhone. OMG is a thought-provoking art piece of a music video. There are a lot of details to analyze and a lot of interpretations to potentially dive into, but for the sake of this video and your sanity, I will stick to the straight and narrow of this video. The video opens up with the doctor asking about Hani's story. Hani goes on to explain how she had felt confused and lost until she had realized her feelings and actions had led her to identify herself as an iPhone. She sings for you, shows you what you want to see. You have her on demand, asking herself of what you want, and ultimately existing for you. Sound like a certain profession you've ever heard of? Minji concludes that Hani thinks she's Siri, and we finally get a real voice reveal of Hani agreeing.
네, 그렇습니다.
The music finally kicks in and we go through a bit of a flashback. We see Minji going around collecting the ill girls as if they were Pokemon. She argues that she isn't a patient, and we see her spotting Hani whispering to a wall behind Hain as she stands in a subway in a full dress, staring at Danielle as she laughs hysterically at Static and catches Hedin drawing all over an ambulance. As Minji finds them, we see them being stuffed into the ambulance. Then Minji spots a girl in pink, crouched on the ground. Minji approaches her only to find out that she had found herself. Minji is shoved into the back of the ambulance and we get the single greatest shot of all the girls staring at her before the door shut. We delve a little deeper into Hain's delusion. She believes that she is in a fairy tale in which she is a princess and her prince is Danielle. The girl with the little matches is Hedin and she holds an apple, which by using our base knowledge of fairy tales we can assume is the classic poisoned apple. Hain bites this apple and is later shown laying on a bed guarded by a bear. The camera pans down and we see a lifeless Danielle laying on the ground before her. The bear roars, and I'm sure someone smarter than me has already figured out what this means, and what it means when we see Hain faded while she's staring at the stuffed bear back at the hospital. But that's not me. I don't know what any of that means. Hedin seems to be convinced that she's a cat, seeing herself as one and going as far as to casually eat cat food. The next focus is Danielle, who urges everyone to realize and remember that they are NewJeans. She even breaks the fourth wall by walking out of set and standing beside the director when she tries to convince the girls that they are filming a music video right now. The song comes to an end and Danielle continues to claim that they are NewJeans, pushing us into a compilation of different NewJeans content, behind the scenes, performances, and even other music videos, progressively cutting through faster before Minji interrupts attention and orders the girls to return to their wards. Credits roll as Lee Malnyeon picks up the notebook with Hedin's drawings and he sees them come to life out the window. From what I understand, he is the actual artist behind those illustrations. After the credits are done, we get a quick scene of someone typing away on Twitter, saying, "Am I the only one uncomfortable with this music video's materials? Just show their faces and dance." Most likely in reference to NewJeans' music videos. Most of them don't show a whole lot of choreography and are chopped between different shots that tell a story. Minji walks into the room in her doctor outfit and says time is up, implying, of course, that these people with such narrow mind and no appreciation for art outside of their comfort zones are mentally ill. And this is the kind of bold, strong messaging that I love to see. All of this is amazing stuff, and there is still so much more I didn't talk about and didn't pick apart. Like I said, there is a lot to unpack and analyze about this music video. A lot of interpretations can be taken from this. I didn't even mention the callbacks to Ditto, the incredible match cuts scattered across the video, and that great scene where we see the girls flicker through different entities as they sit around the table from the perspective of someone else. OMG is always an impressive watch, and it was so close to being second place. This music video is a cinematic experience first and foremost, and that is cool with me. Cool With You's music video is an adaptation of Cupid's legend. We follow Hoyeon, who would be Cupid, following people around and averting her gaze to another, making them fall in love in that moment. But something changes in her behavior after Danielle presents a painting to the tourists. The painting is François-Edouard Picot La Mort et Psyché. The painting is a depiction of Cupid leaving Psyche's bed. As Hoyeon admires the painting, she turns to see a man who is also observing the painting. She ends up following him all day, not daring to look away. Judgmental stares from angels ensue as they observe the forbidden attachment develop. Hoyeon grows desperate to be seen by him. She is left at the edge of an important choice, looking between the man that captured her heart and the angels looking on, reminding her of her life as a god. The music is on its last seconds as we watch Hoyeon shed her drapes, and with it, her immortality. The music stops and we are left with Hoyeon under the pouring rain, smiling up at the sky despite her sacrifice. That's where side A ends, and side B begins where we left off. She goes on to seek out the man and she finds him. Our relationship surely blossoms as we see them together on various outings and we see a painting of Hoyeon in the man's home, presumably one of his own work. We are taken on this happy journey of togetherness and achievement. Hoyeon gave up her immortality to be with a mortal, and it paid off. She was brought more happiness than she could ever achieve as the god of love. But then the music drops. Hoyeon is standing across the road from her man. Then Tony, an elder man, stands behind him. Something doesn't feel right. Her smile drops as Tony stares intently in her direction. and flicks to look at her man. Hoyeon runs towards him in a panic but comes to a stop as his gaze diverts to the woman walking beside her. The camera comes out of focus from Hoyeon and instead centers the new woman, a clear message that it was too late. Tony smiles and walks away. Hoyeon is left distraught in what she has lost. Credits roll as Hoyeon walks through this building and suddenly we hear Get Up. And if you listen hard enough, you can also hear the Get Up fan club cheering. Hoyeon walks to the source and finds the angels dancing and singing along. She looks to be inspired. Flashes a smile before walking off, and with that, the video ends. It's not often you see a music video for a K-pop group that excels so greatly despite the fact that the members of the group are barely present in it. Who with you pushes the boundaries of what is possible and what should be acceptable in a music video? The fact that Cupid's Legend can be adapted so beautifully in the form of a music video should be eye-opening to the entire industry. But NewJeans had made waves way before this. One massive wave that for me will always be NewJeans' single best music video. And is it really any surprise? This music video not only carries such a powerful and important message, but it also captures what NewJeans is all about. The only times we see choreography during both parts of this music video, it is done so in a playful and disorganized way. A harmony and chaos rather than the perfection and pixel-perfect coordination we see so often in conventional K-pop media. And that isn't even the most important part of the music video. No. The focus is Ban Hee-soo. Sound familiar? Let me say it a little faster for you. Ban Hee-soo. Hee-soo inserts a cassette into the old TV, and we watch nostalgic footage of NewJeans with an emotional piano melody rolling in. Then the image clears up as we faintly hear OMG's instrumental. Ban Hee-soo films as the girls dance along, but she lingers on a boy that stands behind them, before quickly panning back to the girls. The boy stares, curiously, and they meet again at the water fountain. Ban Hee-soo stares as she drinks, but alas, she has better things to do. Spend time with her best friends. She spends the day with them, talking, laughing, spending time together, and recording their memories. Ban Hee-soo and NewJeans nap on a couch together. Ban Hee-soo has a dream, where she stares at a deer and it stares right back. Then, Ban Hee-soo wakes up. Alone. The cast once filled with loving messages now gone, completely blank, and a single nail painted pink. The nail that had been painted not by Minji, but by herself. The sobering reality is revealed as Hane's simple melody echoes and a ticking ensues, along with a grating sound that gets progressively louder as we look back on the events of the video. But this time, it's silent. NewJeans aren't there. They never were there. Ban Hee-soo ran around the school, filming nothing, talking to herself, spending time with no one but herself. She walked under the pouring rain, completely alone, with her company being a mere illusion. A comfortable lie she had lived in for far too long. Side A ends on a note I never thought a K-pop music video could ever end on. Needless to say, it was impactful. Side B begins and we get a look at some more footage. Flashes of reality and Ban Hee-soo's fantasy alike. She looks at the boy from the fountain. He looks back. Ban Hee-soo begins to realize her situation. She had woken up. She spots NewJeans dancing on a parking lot, but this time she's not recording, not interacting. She simply watches from a distance. Flashes of the time they spent together rush through her mind as she runs to the school's top floor. With a heavy heart, she holds the camera over the edge of the building and drops it. Is there any greater pain than letting go of that which you loved? And how much worse does it get when you realize that it was all a delusion? Ban Hee-soo begins to walk away from NewJeans, ignoring their calls, avoiding them. Instead, now she walks with him, the boy that had taken her attention for that brief moment. The boy that was actually there. Ban Hee-soo once again gazes at the deer, this time with teary eyes before it moves on. So does Ban Hee-soo. Before the video ends, NewJeans walk into Ban Hee-soo's room as she reminisced. In a way, it was good to see them again. And through their words, they were happy to be back. In a space with such a prominent problem of parasocialism, seeing it tackled in such a big way is incredible. Not only does this music video portray the dangers of parasocialism, but it also serves as a message from NewJeans themselves to bunnies. An idol group will never be able to help you the way that people around you can. Once you realize that, you can stop torturing yourself with fantasies that can push you to concerning behaviors. Live your own life, Make your own connections. After all, we can always go back to NewJeans whenever we want. And as far as we're concerned, they'll always receive us with a smile. And with everything that's going on right now, I think we should find comfort in knowing that their work is immortalized, no matter what happens. We can always slide in those old cassette tapes and enjoy them, just like they enjoyed making these pieces for bunnies all over the world. With such an iconic depiction of NewJeans that would become one of their most identifiable styles, loaded with such an important message that was delivered with such emotional power, it's truly remarkable, and without a doubt, it makes Ditto NewJeans' best music video to date. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It is something I've always been curious about, how I would specifically rank these music videos if I had to rank them from least to most favorite. And it is also a neat way to look back on what we've gotten from this group over the past few years. With NewJeans' future being so uncertain, I hope we can always come back and be happy that any of this happened in the first place. That we got to witness such an amazing team carry out these visions that will leave an impression on the industry forever. And with that being said, that's it for me. If you did enjoy this video and you'd like to see more content like this out of me in the future, please let me know. Remember to leave your like and subscribe to show your support. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Say goodbye. Bye!